The moment Jungkook broke down in tears as Jin spoke about SUGA's future was not just emotional, it was seismic. What could possibly drive the golden magne of BTS to such visible distress? What did Jin say that pierced through the calm and triggered a wave of speculation across the global ARMY community? And more importantly, is this the beginning of the end for BTS as we know it? During a recent private gathering among BTS members, a conversation unfolded that has since sent shockwaves through the fandom. Jin, known for his composed demeanor and thoughtful reflections, reportedly opened up about SUGA's uncertain trajectory within the group. His words, though measured, carried a weight that was impossible to ignore. Jungkook, seated beside him, was visibly shaken. Witnesses described the moment as unbearably tense, with Jungkook eventually lowering his head and wiping away tears that he could no longer suppress. The room fell silent. No one interrupted. No one dared to speak. The gravity of Jin's statement had landed. What exactly did Jin say? According to sources close to the group, Jin expressed deep concern about SUGA's evolving priorities and hinted at a possible shift in his career direction. "Yoongi has been thinking a lot lately," Jin reportedly said, his voice steady but somber. He's been questioning where he belongs and whether continuing with BTS is still the path he wants to walk. The statement, though not definitive, was enough to ignite a firestorm of speculation. Jungkook's emotional response only added fuel to the growing anxiety among fans. The timing of this revelation is critical. With several members currently serving their mandatory military duties, the group is already in a state of suspended animation. SUGA, who is fulfilling his service as a public servant due to past health issues, has remained relatively quiet about his post-service plans. However, recent interviews and subtle remarks have hinted at a desire to explore solo ventures more deeply. His successful solo projects, including collaborations and his own tour, have demonstrated his capability and appeal as an independent artist. Could this be the crossroads where SUGA chooses to part ways with BTS? Jin's words were not just a reflection of concern. They were a warning. "We've always said we'd stay together," he continued. "But staying together means choosing each other again and again. And I don't know if Yoongi is still choosing us." The implication was clear. SUGA may be contemplating a future that no longer includes BTS. And Jungkook's tears were not just for the possibility of losing a member. They were for the unraveling of a bond that has defined their lives for over a decade. The emotional atmosphere among the members has been palpable in recent months. Vague social media posts, cryptic lyrics, and subdued public appearances have all contributed to a sense of unease. Fans have noticed the shift. The once unbreakable energy of BTS seems to be flickering. Is it exhaustion? Is it the natural evolution of artists who have grown beyond their original mold? Or is it the beginning of a permanent fracture? ARMY around the world has responded with a mix of shock, sadness, and desperate hope. Forums are flooded with theories. Some believe this is a temporary phase, a moment of introspection that will ultimately strengthen the group. Others fear that the silence from SUGA is a prelude to a formal departure. The lack of denial or reassurance from any member has only intensified the speculation. Why hasn't anyone clarified the situation? Why did Jin choose to speak now, and in such a direct manner? There are whispers that Jin, being the eldest and often the emotional anchor of the group, knows more than he's letting on. His military service has given him time to reflect, and perhaps even access to conversations that others have not yet had. Could it be that SUGA has already made his decision, and Jin is preparing the group and the fans for the inevitable? The question that looms largest is this: if SUGA leaves, what becomes of BTS? The group has always emphasized unity, brotherhood, and shared purpose. A departure would not just be a logistical change, it would be a symbolic rupture. BTS without SUGA is not just one member short, it's a different entity altogether. His artistry, his introspection, and his quiet leadership have been integral to the group's identity. Can BTS survive such a loss? Jungkook's breakdown is emblematic of the emotional toll this uncertainty is taking. Known for his resilience and professionalism, Jungkook rarely displays vulnerability in public. That he cried openly, uncontrollably, speaks volumes. It wasn't just sadness. It was grief. Grief for a future that may no longer include the 7 members standing together on stage. Grief for a brother who may be choosing a different path. Grief for the end of an era. The silence from SUGA since this incident has been deafening.
No statements.
No posts.
No evidences.
Fans are left to interpret the void. Is he reflecting? Is he preparing? Or is he simply distancing himself from the storm that his possible departure has created? This moment has forced fans and observers to confront a painful possibility. BTS may not remain intact forever. The group that redefined global pop culture, broke records, and built an empire of love and artistry may be approaching a turning point. And while change is inevitable, the emotional cost of that change is being felt in real time. Jin's decision to speak, Jungkook's tears, and SUGA's silence form a triad of tension that cannot be ignored. Each element points to a deeper narrative, one of transformation, uncertainty, and emotional reckoning. The members of BTS are not just idols, they are human beings navigating complex personal and professional landscapes. And right now, that landscape is shifting beneath their feet. As the world watches, the questions remain unanswered. Will SUGA stay or go? Will BTS continue as 6? Or will they redefine themselves entirely? Is this a temporary storm, or the beginning of a new chapter that leaves the past behind? For now, ARMY waits. They wait for clarity. They wait for hope. They wait for the moment when the members will speak again. Not in cryptic fragments, but in truth. Until then, the image of Jungkook in tears, Jin's solemn voice, and the looming silence of SUGA will remain etched in the collective memory of fans worldwide. The emotional aftermath of Jin's remarks continues to ripple through the BTS fandom, with Jungkook's tears now symbolizing a deeper fracture that many fear could become permanent. The silence from SUGA has grown louder with each passing day, and the absence of any reassuring message from the remaining members has only intensified the unease. Fans are dissecting every past interview, every lyric, every subtle gesture, searching for clues that might explain the current tension. Was this moment foreshadowed long ago? Has SUGA been quietly preparing to step away while the rest of the world remained unaware? Jin's words were not vague musings. They were deliberate, calculated, and deeply personal. They carried the weight of someone who has seen the internal struggle unfold behind closed doors. And Jungkook's reaction was not just emotional, it was instinctive, raw, and heartbreaking. The bond between the members has always been their strength, but now that very bond appears to be under threat. As ARMY braces for what comes next, one truth remains. BTS is standing at a precipice, and the next step could change everything.